Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. So on today's video tutorial, guys, we are still going through the grade 12 mathematical literacy paper 1 that was written in June 2023. And in today's video tutorial, guys, we want to be tackling question 2.2, and question 2.2 is under the umbrella of finance. In particular, we're going to be dealing with cost price and selling price. Okay, so before we get started with today's video tutorial, guys, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you click on that notification bell so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video tutorial, guys. And also, please don't forget to give all these video tutorials a huge thumbs up, because that really helps the channel grow and it helps the channel to reach more learners that want to better their mathematics marks. Also, guys, if you want to really support the channel, please also consider being a member. Okay, the perks of just being a member is that you get to basically watch all these video tutorials before they go live at 6 p.m. Okay, so please make sure that you also become a member, guys, and support the channel. So without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. So like I mentioned in today's video tutorial, guys, we're going to be tackling question 2.2, and question 2.2 deals with cost price and selling price. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, it says Neil owns a panel beating business. He specializes in buying accident damaged cars, which he refurbishes. Okay, so when he refurbishes the cars, he basically repairs them, he repaints them, he valets them, okay, for resale. Okay, so shown below are the different costs incurred to refurbish an accident damaged 2019 model Renault Kwid, bought for 50,000. Okay, so we are told about Neil. Okay, and we are told that Neil basically owns a panel beating business. So Neil basically buys cars, okay, that are accident damaged, and he fixes these cars. So he repairs them, he repaints them, and he valets them. So when you're talking about valets, we're talking about basically deep cleaning the car, okay? And then after he's done that, he resells the cars. So we are told that shown below, we are given the costs, right, or the expenses that are incurred when he basically now refurbishes or fixes this accident damaged 2019 Renault Kwid. Okay, so he bought the Renault Kwid for 50,000. So he bought this accident damaged Renault Kwid for 50k. Okay, so we are given here the cost of refurbishing the car. We are told that the cost of panel beating and painting is 22,000. We are told that the cost of fixing the minor engine faults is 3,682 rand and 50 cents. Then we are told that the cost for the valet, which is the deep cleaning of the vehicle, is 450. Okay, so this is the picture of this accident damaged, or the Renault Kwid, the 2019 Renault Kwid. Okay, so we are told to use the information above to answer the questions that follow. Question 2.2.1 says that calculate the total cost of buying and refurbishing the accident damaged car. Okay, so here, like I mentioned, guys, always just highlight the keywords. Okay, so calculate what is the total cost for buying and refurbishing the accident damaged car. All right, we already know that when he buys this accident damaged car, he buys it for 50k. Okay, that's one thing. So buying the accident damaged car costs him 50k. Okay, and the cost of refurbishing the car is then the 22,000 plus 3,682 rand and 50 cents plus the 450. Okay, so let's just set that up. So the total cost of buying and refurbishing the accident damaged car, right, is the 50,000 plus the 22,000, right? 22,000 is basically for the panel beating and the painting, plus the 3,000 for fixing the engine, the 3,682 rand and 50 cents, plus the 450, right, for the valet. Okay, so if you basically punch these values into your calculator, you'll get that then the total cost of buying and refurbishing this accident damaged Renault Kwid is therefore 76,132 rand and 50 cents. Okay, so it's very important here that you basically read the question carefully, okay, because they said buying and refurbishing. Okay, so maybe some person might make the mistake of just doing the total costs of just refurbishing the car. But remember, they said the total cost of buying. So you need to also include that cost there, how much he pays for actually buying this accident damaged 2019 Renault Kwid. All right, let's have a look at question 2.2.2. So question 2.2.2 says, Neil normally sells the refurbished car. So let me actually zoom this in so that you guys see it proper. Okay, question 2.2.2 says, Neil normally sells the refurbished car at 65% of the cost price. Okay, let's just highlight that, okay? They're telling us that he normally sells the refurbished car at, okay, so he sells it at 65% of the cost price of a brand new similar model car, okay? We are told that the cost price of a brand new similar car is 145,900, okay? Neil stated that he will make a profit of more than 20,000 when he sells the refurbished car. Now we need to verify showing all calculations whether his statement is valid. Okay, so here guys, very important. We are told that now Neil sells now this car that has been refurbished or fixed, repainted, right? Panel beated, okay? So he basically sells this car that has been now fixed so that it looks like a new car at 65% of the cost price of a brand new similar model car. Okay, then we're told that the cost price of this brand new similar model car is 145,900. So Neil now states that he will make a profit of more than 20,000 when he now sells this refurbished car. So here guys, we can already see with this question we are dealing with calculating profit, okay? And when we calculate when we want to basically calculate how much profit, okay, someone is going to make, okay, we basically use the equation of the profit that you make, right, is equal to how much you sell an item for. So it's the selling price, okay? So to determine how much profit you are going to make, you take, so let's say, for example, you're selling a car, right? How much did it cost you to buy that car? Okay, the cost price. And how much you're selling it for will determine how much change, profit you would have made. Okay, so let's say you sell your car. Let's say, for example, you own a Taz, right? And initially you bought that Taz for 35,000. Okay, right? You bought it for selling. So this is the cost. How much it cost you to basically own that Taz, okay? Then you basically decide that, okay, now you're tired of this Taz, you want another car. You want to basically sell this Taz for 45,000, okay? So you sell the Taz for 45,000, okay? So what will help us to determine how much profit you will basically make, okay? So the profit will therefore be how much you sold the car for minus how much it cost you, okay, to basically have that car, and that will basically help us get the profit, okay? So this is the equation that we now have to have at the back of our heads when we are basically approaching this problem. This is our starting point, okay? Once we have this, then we can build from there, okay, to help us answer the question. What other information are we basically told, right? So we're told that he sells. So this information here, this sentence tells us about the selling price, right? So it tells us that he sells, right, the refurbished car at 65% of the cost price of a brand new similar model. Let's just write that down, okay? So we are told that for us to get the selling price, because we already know what we're trying to basically get to, right? We're trying to determine what the profit is, okay? Once we have basically determined what the profit is, we will be able to determine whether his statement was valid or not, because he said that he will make a profit of more than 20,000 when he sells this refurbished car. So we're trying to determine how much profit does he actually make. And once we've determined how much profit he actually makes, then we can basically say that his statement is valid or not. Okay, so that's what we're trying to build to. That's what we're trying to obtain. Okay, so here, this sentence tells us about how we can get the selling price of this refurbished car. Okay, and we're told that the selling price is 65% of the cost price of a brand new similar model. And that brand new similar model is 145,900. Okay, so we are told that let's actually write that sentence down, right? We are told that the selling price, how much he sells this Renault Kwid for. Okay, so the selling price is actually equal to 65% of the cost price, right, of a brand new similar model. So 65% of the price of a brand new similar model. So what is the price of a brand new similar model? The price of a brand new similar model is 145,900. So it's 65% of 145,900. Okay, this is what's gonna help us to get the selling price. Okay, guys, if you approach your questions like this, you'll never go wrong. Okay, so 65% off. So if you've been watching the video tutorials from the first video tutorial that I've uploaded of the grade 12 mathematical literacy paper 1 that was written in 2023, you should know what's happening now, right? From here, we can just basically change this word problem into a mathematical equation. Okay, so 65%, guys, I've explained, is the same as saying 65 divided by 100. When we see off, that means that we're going to be multiplying by 145,900. Okay, so this is how we're going to get the selling price. Okay, so therefore, if you punch this into your calculator, you'll find that actually Neil sells these refurbished Renault Kwids for 94,835 rand. So that is the selling price for the Renault Kwid. Okay, so now we've already found what the selling price is. Okay, we've determined what the selling price is. We're done with that. Remember, we want to determine the profit. So what's missing for us to be able to determine what the profit is going to be? All that's missing, we just need to determine what the cost price is. Okay, how much does it cost him to now make these refurbished Renault Kwids? Okay, here, guys, we've already calculated this value in the previous question. Remember, we calculated what the cost price was here. Okay, the total cost of buying and refurbishing this Renault Kwid, how much it costs him. That is his cost price. Okay, so we've already determined what the cost price is for these, or for refurbishing these Renault Kwids. Okay, so the cost price is, okay, I'm just gonna write it here. Cost price for refurbishing, right, is equal to 76,132 rand 0.50 cents. Okay, so now we've got all the values that we need. We've got the selling price, right, how much he sells these Renault Kwids for. We've got the cost price, right, okay, the expenses, okay, that he the cost that he incurs when he basically now fixes these cars, right? So now all that we need to do now is we need to determine what the profit is going to be. Okay, already I gave you guys what the equation, or I've already given you guys the equation that we should use to help us determine the profit. Okay, and we know that the profit is equal to how much you sell your item for minus the cost price. Okay, so to determine the profit is equal to, okay, I'm just gonna say SP, selling price, minus CP, the cost price. Okay, therefore, what was our selling price? Our selling price was equal to 94,835 minus, what is our cost price? Our cost price is 76,132.50 cents. Okay, so if you punch these values into your calculator, you'll get that the profit that Neil makes for basically from selling these Renault Kwids is actually equal to 18,702 rand point 5, or it's the same as saying 50 cents. Okay, so that is the profit that he makes. Now, we're not done, guys, right? He made a statement. He basically stated that, okay, he makes a profit of more than 20,000, okay? But what did we find here? We find that actually the profit that he makes is less than 20,000, okay? Therefore, we can conclude that Neil's statement is invalid, okay? His profit is less than 20,000. Okay, so therefore Neil's statement is invalid. His statement is not valid. His profit is less than 20,000. So I basically answer my questions in full sentences, okay? Because I mean, we want to show that we understand what we're doing, okay? So it's just good to write things in full sentences so that you can follow clearly what you're doing. Okay, so I think that's also just the English teacher in me. Okay, but I mean, writing in full sentences, guys, is advisable, guys, because then you can follow every single step that you are doing. All right, so that is it for question 2.2.2. Let us have a look at the last question. Right, so let's have a look at question 2.2.3. It says Neil invests 15,000 of his total profit in a bank which offers him the following interest rates. Okay, there's a 6.25 interest that is compounded yearly for the first year, and an interest rate of 6.95% compounded yearly for the second year. Now we need to calculate the total interest that Neil's investment would earn at the end of the second year. Okay, so I really hope that you guys watched the first video tutorial that I made for you guys, question 1.1, where I explained how you calculate, or you do your calculations for simple interest and how you do your calculations for compound interest. Okay, so if you've done that video tutorial and you followed and you took down notes, this video tutorial should be a breeze. Okay, but I just want to basically emphasize a very, very important point here. Okay, when it comes to interest rates, remember, guys, with the example that I did for you guys in that video tutorial where we spoke about how John basically borrowed 800 rand, was it 800 rand? From his uncle, and he promised to pay it back in 3 months, right? And we spoke about, I'm gonna just focus on the part where we spoke about, let me just actually go back to that example because I know someone is going to be confused. So I have to reiterate this point. I know you guys, okay? Remember, we spoke, here's this example that we did together where I was explaining. I'm going to just focus on the compound interest one, okay? Right, where we spoke about the fact that now John borrowed 800 rand from his uncle, and he borrowed to pay it back in 3 months at an interest rate of 5%. Okay, so I think this question had to also just add interest rate of 5%. So we can actually also just add to this that it was actually compounded monthly. Okay, so now they calculate the interest, okay, on the amount that he borrowed from his uncle every month. So interest is calculated every month. So that is why we calculated the interest that was charged in the first month, interest was charged second month, interest was charged in the third month. So the interest here was compounded monthly. Okay, so every month, okay, interest is charged on whatever amount he basically borrowed from his uncle. Okay, so that's the point that I basically want to reiterate here. Okay, so here with this question 2.3, here this interest is compounded yearly. Okay, meaning that so the interest is added to his investment once a year. Okay, so this point that I've just said right now is going to be very important when we now go on to basically calculate how much interest he makes each year from investing 15,000 into this bank. Okay, so please pay attention. So let's have a look. Now we're going to use the methods that we've basically discussed in the video tutorial that I basically did with you guys in question 1.1, right, where I explained how you calculate your compound interest, right? And you also need to note that the interest is compounded yearly. Okay, so meaning that interest is only added once a year, right? We only add our interest once a year. Okay, Right, so let's have a look, okay? So he basically invests. Okay, I'm just gonna say this is the first year. We're gonna calculate how much he will have in his bank account after the first year. So we're gonna basically take that 15, okay? We're gonna take that 15,000. He invests 15,000, right? And he basically gains an interest of 6.25%. Remember, I mentioned that percent basically means that we divide by 100. So since it's compounded yearly, right? Interest, he only basically, interest is basically added once a year. Okay. So it's just like multiplying by one. We don't have to continue, right? So let's get how much interest he would basically earn from investing 15,000. Okay. So if you punch this into your calculator, 15,000 multiplied by 6.25 divided by 100, he will basically earn an interest of 937 rand point 50 cents, meaning that in the first year, okay, or the last day of this year, right, or at the end of this year, right, he would have 15,000 plus 937 rand and 50 cents, right? So we're going to basically punch that into your calculator and get how much he will have in his account, right, at the end of this year, right? So if you punch that into your calculator, you'll see that at the end of this year, he'll have 15,937.50 cents. So it's very important that we basically add this 937 rand and 50 cents to the initial amount, because remember, I said that when we count, or when your interest is compounded, right, it basically means that your interest is charged on the accumulated amount and not on the initial amount. Okay, so we're gonna need this accumulated amount to determine how much interest he would then make in the second year. Okay, so let's find out how much he would have in his account in the second year. Okay, and remember, I did mention in that video tutorial that compound interest is usually used in investments, because what did I say? I said that you basically get, or it yields higher returns. Okay, so that's basically what we're doing here. He's investing an amount. Okay, he's investing 15,000, and he basically wants to see his money grow. Okay, so that is why we basically do our calculations using compound interest calculations. Okay, so now to calculate how much he would get at the end of the second year, we're then going to use now this accumulated amount and not the initial amount of 15,000. Okay, we only use the initial amount when we're doing our simple interest calculation. Okay, so we're going to take now that 15,937 rand and 50 cents, and then how much interest will he basically, what is the interest rate for the second year? We told that the interest rate for the second year is 6.95% compounded yearly. So the interest is only added once a year again, right? Okay, so it's the same as just saying multiplied by 1. Okay, the interest rate is only added once a year. Okay, all right. So then from here, we're going to take that 15,937 and 50 cents. Okay, we're going to multiply by the interest rate of 6.95%. That is the same as saying 6.95 divided by 100, right? And it's just multiplied by 1 because the interest rate is only added once. Okay, because it's compounded. They add the interest just yearly, once a year. All right, so if you punch this into your calculator, you will get that now he will earn an interest, or he will earn interest to the value of 1,107.65. Remember, we're dealing with money, so we can round this off to 2 decimal places. So it's just 1107.66. Okay, because the third digit after the comma is greater than 5, right? Therefore, we will take this value up 1. Okay, so that is the interest that he'll basically earn in the second year. However, we're not done, right? The question basically wants us to determine, okay, so meaning that at the end of the second year, how much will he now have in his account. Okay, therefore at the end of the second year he will have that. Remember, he started the year with 15,937 rand point 50 cents. He earned an interest. Actually, guys, just take note of the following, right? So when you're doing mathematical literacy, just always remember to round off only your final answer. Okay, so don't round off while you are still doing your calculations. Only just round off the final answer, just so that you maintain your accuracy. So because we're not done, we're still doing our calculations, right? Just keep your values the way that they are unless the question states otherwise, right? And only round off your final answer. Please take note of that. Okay, so we're only going to round off our final answer. Okay, so he started the year with 15,937 rand and 50 cents, right? He earned interest to the value of 1,107.65625, meaning at the end of the second year, right? Okay, how much does he now have in his account, right? So he now has 17,000, okay, and 45 rand 0.15625 cents. Okay, so that is how much he now has for just investing 15,000. Okay, he at the end of the second year he now has 17,045 rand 0.15625 cents. Okay, however, the question was asking, the the total interest. Okay, how much interest did he actually earn at the end of the second year? Okay, so how much interest did he make? So now to determine how much interest or the total interest that he made, right? All that we need to do now is then take the amount that he had in his account at the end of the second year and we minus it from the amount that he actually invested to determine how much interest he actually made. Okay, so to determine how much interest he actually made is equal to this 17,045.15625 minus how much you actually invested, which was 15,000. Okay, so if you punch this into your calculator, okay, you'll get that he actually made or earned an interest of 2,045 rand 0.15625 cents. And now, because we're actually done with the question, we can now round off our final answer, all right, to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we're going to look at the third digit after the comma. That is going to tell us what we need to do to the second digit. Okay, so because it's a 6, that means that now, which is a value that is bigger than 5, right? Therefore, we need to take that 5 up. Okay, right? So it's going to be 2045.16. Okay, and that's the total interest that he basically earned. Okay, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. I hope I didn't lose anyone here, right? I hope I reiterated all the important points or where I thought you guys were probably going to be a bit confused, right? Okay, when something is compounded monthly, right, or interest, if your interest is compounded monthly, that means that every month interest is being added. Okay, if your interest is being compounded yearly, that means that interest is only added once a year. Okay, so that's the important part that I want you guys to take note of. So don't be confused with the different video tutorial where we're calculating interest every month. Now someone out there might think that because it's compounded yearly, now I need to do calculations 12 times. No. Okay, right? If it's compounded yearly, that means that they're adding the interest only once a year. If it's compounded monthly, every month they're adding the interest. Okay, so that's very important, guys. Please listen to me with that explanation. Please take down the notes, okay? Because I know someone is going to make this silly mistake. Okay, right? And that is it. Another important point here, okay? Another way you could have also just done this to determine the total interest that he had earned, you could just also add this 937.50 plus the interest that he earned in the second year, okay? That is also another way that you could have also approached this question, okay? And that is it, guys, for today's video tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys watched it until the end, because guys, I don't just ramble. Okay, everything that I say is very important, and I think if you guys are studying, you're taking down notes, it's very important. There are certain points that I reiterate, so please make sure that you guys watch the whole video tutorial. Don't skip through, okay? Especially if you can watch it until the end, please do. Okay, and that is it for today's video tutorial, guys. In the next video tutorial, we're going to be having a look at question 3.1. And so question 3.1 just deals with data handling. It's under the umbrella of data handling. We're going to be calculating mean, percentage, and we've got some probability question there. Okay, so please note, with probability, they usually just throw you probability questions in just the last question. Okay, so as long as you know how to calculate probability and you read the question, you should be fine. Okay, so please make sure that you watch this video tutorial. Please make sure that you have your notification bells turned on,
guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye, guys.